Welcome back to Well Traveled with AAA, the podcast where we explore the world through unforgettable journeys and expert insights. I'm your host, Julio Soto, and today we're diving into the world of cruising with a true industry expert. Joining me is Michael Eng, Senior Director of National Accounts at Viking, the River Cruise Ocean Expedition Voyage absolute expert. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Julio. It is so great to be here.
Listen, one of the last times that I saw you in person outside of the country was in Stockholm. Remember, we were on one of the ocean cruises and you invited me to do an excursion in Stockholm. And it speaks highly of what Viking does, how that experience changes lives. So I just wanted to let you know, I will not forget our day in Stockholm. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh my goodness, that was so much fun. I mean, I can't even tell you that just kind of really tops my list in terms of just random experiences. You walk into the bar, have this, totally immersive experience with that culture. And, I have never forgotten about it, Julio.
So it was great. It was great. And for those who are listening, and Michael, listen, and I'm a warm weather guy, and Michael asked me to join him in the gang for an experience at the ice bar in Stockholm. And if folks have never done that, it is literally you walk into an ice bar, and it was incredible, and I really thank you for it. So that was just a very fond memory. And again, I feel it speaks volumes to what Viking does and brings to the table in terms of experiences and getting folks to roll up their sleeves and just experience the culture of a country so nicely. So thank you for that. All right, listen, we've got a tremendous amount of content to tackle today. So let's start at what we like to refer to as the beginning, right? So for someone new to cruising, Michael, why would you often recommend that they start with the river cruising component of your business?
Well, for me, river cruising is really one of the most, I would say, immersive ways to travel. You're sailing really into the heart of destinations. You dock in city centers, the quaint villages, and even charming towns. One thing that's really important to note about river cruising in Europe is that the majority of European civilizations throughout the centuries were built along the rivers. So that's where you find a lot of the amazing destinations, culture, etc. Additionally, river cruising is super intimate, relaxed, and incredibly scenic. So guests step right off the ship and they pretty much immediately are part of that culture, the history, and in the daily life of the destination, I would say. So it's an amazing way to travel because you're getting those smaller, iconic towns, those charming villages that you would never even think about traveling to if you weren't doing that river cruise.
So really, at this point, it becomes more the destination experience than the actual ship, even though they're wonderful. But I mean, you really are highlighting the destination when you are, traveling up and down these beautiful rivers.
Exactly. And I would say really what we do at Viking very well is that we are about the destination. We truly believe that destination is the destination, not the ship. So everything we do is pretty much designed to complement the places you travel. On the rivers of Europe, our Viking Longship really becomes the home away from home for our guests. It has all the fine amenities of a floating hotel, and all of our interiors are Scandinavian designed to really enhance that scenery as you're sailing. So we have floor-to-ceiling windows, which is a very important part of Scandinavian design. It's about letting the light come in. So our ship design really encompasses that. And additionally, we have some patented features on our Viking Longships, like our Aqua-V Terrace, which is a square bow on the front of our Viking Longships, which really allows you to experience that storybook scenery as you're cruising the Rhine to see those majestic castles. But at the end of the day, yes, our focus is truly that destination and how you're experiencing it.
Want to experience a destination, not just visit it? With Viking, you're immersed in the heart of every place you go to, with exclusive moments you can't get on your own. And with AAA Travel, every detail is handled. Start your journey today at AAA.com/travel. Why don't you walk us through what a typical day on the riverboat let's say either the Danube or the Rhine, right? Just to give you some examples. What does that look like?
Absolutely. So day to day, typically on most of our European river itineraries, we sail at night. However, in the morning, you're usually docked by 6, 7, 8 a.m. So, your shore excursion is usually around 8, 9, 10 a.m. Prior to that, what I like to do personally is, go for a jog around the river, because you're right there. So I love to kind of exercise before. Then I'll have usually like a light breakfast, and there's 2 dining venues that you can have that on, either on the Aquavit Terrace if you want something ready made and to go, or you can, dine formally in the restaurant as well. And there's also a buffet option in the restaurant, or you can have everything kind of made for you. And then you go on your daily shore excursion. There's 1 shore excursion included in each port of call. So that's really a great advantage to Viking. And then after you go on your shore excursion, you might want to go on an optional afterwards. There's usually 1 to 2 per day, depending on that particular itinerary. And then, obviously you would come back, have your dinner. All of our dining is open seating. So what I love to do is, mingle and meet new people. That's one of the great pleasures of traveling with Viking, is really making those new friends along the way. And then, of course, unwinding at the end of dinner in the lounge and really being able to experience some great music or maybe even a destination performance.
That sounds wonderful. And, before we move on to something else, I wanted to go back to 2 things real quick. Talk to me first about the culinary program on board, because I think that that's very unique to Riverboat, and especially unique to Viking, just with locally sourced foods and things like that. I think is interesting. So talk to me about that. And then real quick, before we move on, about the excursions. I want to also understand some of the unique features of the excursions. As I start, I'm a foodie, I'm a self-proclaimed foodie. So talk to me about the food first.
The food is absolutely amazing. And one of the things that we do with our menu, which is pretty interesting, is on the left-hand side, we have our always available American classics. So you'll find like your ribeye steaks, your Caesar salads. But on the right side of the menu, you'll find your regional specialties. So wherever you're traveling, so say, for example, you are in Germany or you're in Austria and you want to experience some schnitzel, there will be schnitzel on the menu on the right-hand side. There's also desserts of the destination as well. And then there's always some chef specialties that they are cooking for one night only on that right side of the menu. So you get a combination of both always available American classics and also those regional specialties on the menu.
Excellent. Sounds great. And the excursions, anything that is very different and unique about what you guys are doing once you're stopped at these wonderful little towns, villages, etc.
Absolutely, Julio. Really what sets Viking apart is our exclusive partnerships we have in the destinations we travel. It's what we call privileged access excursions, experiences that aren't typically available to the public, or you wouldn't be able to book on your own if you didn't sail with Viking. So, guests might visit a destination like Highclere Castle, the home of the real Downton Abbey, best known for the TV show and also the several movies that have come out. But also, there's things like a private performance by the Vienna Boys Choir as you visit their school. And one of the experiences that I loved was the Camus Distillery in the Bordeaux region of France. And it's one of the only remaining privately owned cognac distilleries in France where you can learn to blend cognac like the professionals. And then after you actually make your special blend, they keep your special recipe on file. So you can go online or contact Camus later on and order it if you like it a lot. So a lot of the folks on that excursion did that. So it's really about bringing those special experiences to our guests.
Thinking about your next unforgettable journey from Europe's rivers to destinations around the world, Viking delivers unforgettable, curated experiences. AAA makes it seamless from start to finish. Your next adventure starts at AAA.com/travel. We do need to move on now to some deep water cruising. I know that you also have a wonderful fleet of ocean cruises and you are going globally. So what are some of the highlights? I know that you do such incredible work in the Mediterranean, as an example. I mean, it is a global company, so you guys go everywhere, but I wanted to talk about maybe Western Europe, Mediterranean, Northern Europe, just to get a feel for what that looks like with you all.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the ocean side of things, the Mediterranean is always a favorite. So there's rich culture, cuisine, history, and all those great things. And, these journeys are really created to combine guided exploration with the comfort and ease of cruising, which really makes them very appealing. But beyond the Mediterranean, we also travel to, the British Isles. That's a great experience. And then also Scandinavia and the Baltic region as well. So all great options. But really what we're seeing is a greater demand for those quiet season voyages in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, incredible. I will tell you another fond memory since we are in the Baltic now. We went to a private opera at Catherine the Great's Summer Palace. I'll never forget that. And that's a good example of getting a behind the scenes experience. Imagine that. A private opera, the Amber Room was to my left, opera to my right, and this unbelievable castle in the middle. I just will never forget it. And it's just, again, another example of what you guys do. Hey, do me a favor too. Talk to me about the size of these ocean ships.
So Viking is committed to being a small ship cruise line, right? And our ocean vessels are all under 1,000 passengers. So really what that allows us to do is get into the larger ports that everyone wants to see, but also those more collector ports that many members are looking to actually travel to and that the larger ships just simply cannot get into.
It's great. Our members ask us frequently, when should I go on some of these trips? So for Europe, as an example, what would you recommend are the best times to go for a myriad of reasons? I'd like to get your perspective on that.
Absolutely. So one of the things that, we're really seeing is that greater demand for that quiet season Mediterranean sailings. And that typically is October through February. And the reason why, it's one of those best kept secrets that many folks don't know about. You'll find fewer crowds. There's typically more availability, so better choices of staterooms. And often you'll see better pricing. Plus, the destinations feel more authentic and relaxed when you have a more comfortable and enjoyable pace. Think of being able to see some of those amazing sites in Rome or Italy, like the Trevi Fountain, the Vatican and the Sistine Chapel, the Colosseum and the Pantheon, without those large crowds and waiting in the longer lines you'll experience in the summertime. Plus, the temperatures are a lot more moderate during that time. So it's really a very amazing time to go.
Travel smarter with the quiet season. Fewer crowds, better access, and more authentic experiences. With Viking and AAA, it's all seamlessly planned. Discover more at AAA.com/travel. All right, let me ask you also about the adult-only perspective as it relates to, the company's philosophy. I think that's very important for folks to understand the why behind it and how that works as well.
So we have a very distinctive approach in terms of how we position our product. And that is, we are an adults-only cruise line and experience. That allows us to create a more refined, culturally immersive experience. And we like to say we design those experiences for the thinking person. You have to be 18 years of age or older to sail with us. And who sails with us are couples, those 55 years of age and older. We do see some families from time to time, but all of the children are adults. And what really kind of sets us apart, I think, on board is that we don't have any casinos on board. There's no water parks. At Viking, we are committed to that serene, quiet, calm, and relaxing experience on board. And everything on board is really complemented with those curated experiences, that cultural enrichment, and, those experiences that really our clients thrive on.
Michael, one of the things I also wanted to point out is that, your staff on board these vessels is just superb.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, our staff are just absolutely amazing. It's one of the reasons why Viking is the number one ocean and river line with Condé Nast Traveler.
Let me ask you, so what's on the horizon? I mean, Viking in general is such an iconic brand. What are some of the things that you could sort of tee up for us as we look to the future of Viking?
So at Viking, as you know, Julio, we are always innovating, expanding our fleet. We're introducing new itineraries, new destinations, new guest experiences. And as a global company, we continue to grow across river, ocean, and expedition cruising while staying focused on what we do best, which is deliver a small ship, meaningful travel experience that's basically tailored to that North American English-speaking guest. And I think it's an important distinction for our AAA members listening in, because they'll be traveling with like-minded passengers, with a majority of our passengers coming from the US and Canada. So I think that really sets Viking apart in the marketplace.
All right. So, Michael, as we start to close this conversation, it's one of my favorite parts of the discussion, by the way. I want to ask you, what does well-traveled mean to you?
Well, Julio, well-traveled to me means really immersing myself in the destination and traveling with old friends or new friends. And on that journey that we sailed on together, you became a new friend of mine. So to me, that's being well-traveled. That's part of what travel is all about. And we've been friends since. So I love it.
I think that's great. I love that too. And by the way, I can't wait to go on the next adventure with you, Michael. Just name the place, time. I will be there. That's how much I love Viking and how much I respect our partnership and our relationship. So thank you. Thank you. This has been very special. And also to our listeners, if you're ready to explore the world in a more meaningful way, AAA is here to help you to plan every step of the journey. Thanks for tuning into Well Traveled with AAA. Until next time, I'm Julio Soto, wishing you safe travels and well-traveled adventures.